Hi beauty fam, welcome back to MikiCarrBeauty. I'm MikiCarrBeauty, and on my channel I love to talk about luxury skincare, beauty, and sometimes small luxury goods. And today I'm continuing on with my declutters, going through my entire collection of my declutter. I started with bronzers and then I did powders, and now we're going to do concealer. Okay, so here are the concealers that I am looking at with you today and correctors. So why don't we start with correctors. I have, let's see, 3 of them here. Yep, I have 3. And I have the Formerly Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector in medium to deep. I love this one because although it's a little bit too light for me, it's just really creamy, and I have aging skin and eyelids, so for me I always need under eye cream. So I'm gonna keep this one. This has like been an OG of mine, and I'll just do a little swatch for you here so you can see. It's like the perfect peach color. Favorite corrector is the Natasha Denona C4 corrector. It's a bit orange, but I'm okay with it. A lot of times they're a little bit too red. And so for me, with my olive undertone, it's a really great corrector. So I'm going to keep this. This is probably my top shelf. Now, this is the one I'm probably going to get rid of. So sorry about that. That's the one I have that I'm probably going to get rid of is the Hue Stick Live Tinted Balance Stick. And this is, it won awards for being a multi-purpose stick, but you know, maybe all things shouldn't be like for everything. It's what I don't like about this is the color balance. It's a little bit too orange for what I need. And the other thing is that it's just a bit too, it's a little dry, although it says it's creamy. I find it really hard to work with. So, you know, and it says I could use this as a, like a blush or eye cream or lip pencil or lip product. I never use it for that. I've, in a pinch for funsies, I've tried it. I just never use it, but I think it's time to let this go because I just never really use it. And what a shame, because there's a lot of product in here still. Okay, and so I'll pass on that Live Tinted. I am getting rid of these 2 because I don't like this formula. I was gifted these because I'm a DANESSA MYRICKS Beauty Angel, and I've used these, so I can't pass these on because it's kind of like lipstick. I already opened these. These are contaminated, which is unfortunate. I think she came out with a new concealer, which is so much better. I love it, although I just got the wrong shade. I think I need to get shade 8 or 9, but that one is so much better. These are so I don't like these. These are too hard to work with. I mean, just don't know if I can. Yeah, it's like this. It's really meant for a makeup artist. It's to be squeezed on a palette, and I'm not that kind of makeup user where I'm gonna put stuff on a palette and then put it on. Again, I'm not a working makeup artist, so I'm just like an everyday person that loves makeup and knows a lot about it, but I don't want to have to put things on a palette and then put it on my face. So we're just gonna get rid of those. This I'm sad to get rid of, but I'm just getting rid of it just solely on the fact that it's old. So I think this is over 2 or 3 years old, and it's kind of, I think it's time. I think like I've been using this on and off and it's not very good anymore. So I think it's broken down in quality. This is the Sisley Phyto-Teint Eclat shade 4. And I'll do a little swatch for you can see there. It's also very, very light. If I were to get this again, I would get shade 5. The product doesn't smell, but I feel like it's just gotten so old that it's not working well. Okay, I'm going to grab something else that I'm going to get rid of because as much as people love this, it's old and I never liked this as a concealer. I love this as my like super full coverage all over my face, but I never got along with this as a concealer. So this is the DIOR Forever Concealer, Forever Skin Correct, and it's in shade 3 Warm Olive. It's a little bit too olive for me. It doesn't brighten, and it's almost too flat on me when I use it. It's part of it is I like under eyes that are brightening. So, and it's also, I don't know if you can see it. It's just like streaky. There's a streakiness to this DIOR concealer that I never got on with. This is the original formula and people love it, and I just never liked it. So that's too bad. Okay, I'm getting rid of this one because it was like a small size, and I just, for years I used NARS, their concealer in the shade Ginger. Let me just do a swatch for you here. And I think because of my skin aging, this is just not a good product for me anymore. It's almost too dry. That needs to go. So these are the ones that I actually do love. This is the one I actually thought I didn't like, and I started using it again this summer, and I like it, but I'm noticing there's like some separation going on. I don't know what's going on, but it's still good. I'm gonna use it. It's not old. It's Kulfi, Kulfi, and I have this in the shade Extra Elachi, and it's really great. For like you know, kind of a Sephora Ulta drugstore type of concealer, I really like it. It's I have it on today. I didn't use any corrector today, so I feel like it covers my dark circles really well, but I always use a corrector. But there's something about the opacity of it that it has really nice coverage. You can see the one prior, this was a Ginger NARS. It's streaky. This, it covered stuff. So I have dark circles, and these are the two that I'm getting rid of as well, just because they're old. And that one was streaky. That's the DIOR. But I really like this Kulfi one. I try to rotate my concealers. I'll do it for a week and then rotate them out. My other two OGs, and because it's summer, I haven't used these a lot, but like come fall or during events, I will use these. These are my holy grail. These are the Pat McGrath concealers, and I use a combo of LM11 and LM14, right? So LM11 is lightening, and then LM14 is actually more of my true olive undertone. This is actually truer to my face, but again, I'm tan, so I'm like 1 or 2 shades deeper right now. So these are too light for me now, but come fall, winter, these are going to be great. And if I have an event or all day thing that I need to be for, I reach for this plus the Pat McGrath under eye powder. That's my dynamic duo, and I will not be without that at all. In terms of the best full coverage, still Pat McGrath has my heart. Okay, so here is probably the best concealer, my favorite concealer that I have tested and loved in the past 6 to 8 months, and probably even more than DANESSA MYRICKS. I love the new FENTY concealers. Now these are the We're Even concealers, these two, and I know when I really like a product when I buy 2 of them because I like to do this thing where I like to get the actual one that matches my skin tone and then one that's either lighter or more yellow to lighten up my under eye. And I just love this formula. I'm sorry, I forgot to swatch the other two. So let me do Fenty We're Even concealer. This is 315W. And the other is 310W. Okay, you can see one is more yellow or peach, and the other one's more like light. And it's just like the perfect, when I blend this out, it like conceals all my dark spots or dark under eyes. And let me show you LM14 and 11. This is LM14 and LM11, light and medium. The formula that I like to wear in the summer for concealers are the Fenty Beauty, which is beautiful. It's like this thin, super thin formula that has really great opacity. It covers everything. This one right here, it has great coverage, and then but it doesn't have the thickness. I wouldn't say this is moisturizing, but it's not dry, whereas this is like full on like stage makeup, I feel like. But this Fenty one is just beautiful. I love that it's thin. It's what I wanted the Gucci concealer to be, because that's such a beautiful like thin texture, but the concealer's terrible. It doesn't have any opacity for what my needs are. So I've been using a lot of the Fenty this summer, and then the Kulfi, just because they're lighter concealers. And actually when I was in Toronto for about 2 weeks, I traveled with these, and these were the ones I used on vacation because it was so hot and humid. And I actually took these Fenty concealers with me to Hawaii earlier in the year, and I went swimming, and they I did not mean to. I forgot to take off my makeup, but I had concealer on, and I went swimming in the ocean and snorkeling, and it lasted. It was kind of nuts. Like, they say that it's waterproof. Girl, it was waterproof. Okay, now this is my luxury purchase of, like, I love it. It's again, it's like super full coverage. So when I'm feeling like luxe and extra, I grab my Chanel concealer, and this is the Sublimage Le Corrector shade 40. And I have to say, when I did my review, I'll post my review below. That was such, I had so much engagement, like super polarizing. People were like chiming in not so nicely. That's way too light for you, or like, why would you spend that money if it's not too light, or it's too light, or it looks beautiful. It's a very natural full coverage concealer. And you know, I never shame anyone for how much they spend their money on. That's their business. So I'd hope like people would be respectful with the same, but obviously not. Like, yes, it's too light and it works. Like, if I wish Chanel, do I wish Chanel came out with a better shade range? Yeah, I feel like they should have gone with a 5.0 and a 6.0. And I think they, on this line, they did between 40 and then they skipped to 70. So 40 was too light for me in theory, and then 70 is too deep. So for concealer, I'd rather go light, and then I can like work with bronzer or other mediums to make it deeper. But I love it. It has great coverage. I like using that that Chanel one in the winter when I'm lighter, because it's definitely full coverage and just like really creamy and luxurious. So let me show you what that looks like here. And I'm sorry, I had to wipe off the other concealers on my hand. It was started getting everywhere, and I don't want to stain my clothes and whatnot. But here is a little bit of shade 40. A little goes a long way, and although it's expensive, this is gonna last me a long time. So that is shade 40. And yes, it's too light, but you can see where this is my winter shade. I have a tan, so this is where I have my Apple Watch. Like, actually, let me just put it on my skin here so you can see. And I apologize, I'm having tracking issues with my camera. It's just really irritating, but I'm doing my best here. So you can see with my tan, it's too light, this concealer. Let me buff it out a little bit. But here with my winter shade, it's not so bad. And I love it because it's like, there's something luxe about this formula. It reminded me of like when I first opened my Sisley Phyto concealer. It's around the same price range, and actually I think that Chanel one is actually a little better. So yeah, those are my favorite concealers. So and here I'm keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, not so bad. Almost 50-50, more like 60-40. So now I'm just keeping the ones that I use most on this side and this side. The other ones I'm going to just edit and just get rid of. Okay, I hope that's helpful, beauty fam. Those are my favorite concealers, correctors, and then the next video is going to be highlighters, and if you want to see the other two, I did bronzers and then powders. Remember to subscribe, comment, and like below, beauty fam. And as always, please be very kind to yourself and others, and just be you. Remember to subscribe, comment, and like below. I appreciate you all. And until the next video, beauty fam, take good care. Bye.